Hi, I'm Supermoon Tarot, and I'm so excited to say that today's video is sponsored by Keen. Keen provides access to vetted psychics and spiritual advisors who provide guidance and insight on life's challenges, clarity on love, relationships, career, and more. Keen is also one of the most affordable ways to get an instant psychic reading by a professional, but get this, at any time, 24/7, all from the comfort of your own home. You can talk to them through online chat, they can email you a reading, or you can actually talk to them on the phone, which is really cool. So the thing that's really awesome about Keen is not only do they give you a variety of when you want to talk to them, how you want to talk to them, but you can also choose the variety in which you receive your message. They have mediums, they have live tarot readings, they have astrologers, they have Spanish psychic readings, which is really cool. So all you have to do is you go onto the website and you sign up and you will fill out this brief questionnaire. This is talking about things like tarot reading. Do you want to receive your messages gently or more direct? And all you have to do is fill out your name and your birthday. And this will then enable them to pair you up with a list of recommended psychics that fit your particular needs. So this is the part that I really loved about my personal experience with Keen. So you can kind of try out a bunch of different psychics in order to feel whose messages you resonate with most. I was really lucky because the multiple psychics I happened to choose were very dead on, and a lot of their messages were incredibly cathartic and healing. So that was just a really wonderful, lovely personal experience I had. And after you find a psychic you feel this personal connection with, you can keep an ongoing relationship with them where you can talk to them, monthly about your intentions. Maybe you want to get some clarity on some synchronicities you're going through, chakra clearing, just whatever you're going through in life, they'll be there and you'll have been connected to the right person, which is really cool. So when you start as a new customer, you will receive your first 3 minutes free. But after you sign up, they will give you weekly emails that include additional promotions like $5 for free. Buy $10 and get an additional 20 credits for free. So that way it will make it easier and that much more affordable to keep in contact with the psychic you feel the best connection with. So thank you again, Keen, so much for sponsoring this video. I appreciate it deeply. Now it's time to find out the message you were meant to hear today. This is actually one of my personal favorite tarot readings I do for myself very often because I'll pull a couple of cards with this intention, and before I know it, I will receive answers to questions I didn't even know I was subconsciously asking. I'll receive healing to things I didn't even know were hurting me, and it has a pretty wide gamut, as you can tell, and a lot of variety. But either way, we're looking for helpful stuff that will make you feel good and, give you some sort of closure or enable you to keep moving forward in life, all that good stuff. Now, as you can see, we have 4 groups in front of us. Pick whatever group you resonate with most. I'll give you a moment to do that. And now that you have, you can go down to the description below where your group is marked with a timestamp so you can skip to it. But let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's find out the message you were meant to hear today. Let's look at your cards. Your oracle card is Spirit of Place Upright. This is one of my personal favorites because I don't even need to pull any more cards and it already is the answer to a situation. So clearly there needs to be a solution going on here. I love this card and you'll see why when we get back to it. But let's look at the rest of your cards for context. We have the 5 of Swords upright. Yeah, the Tower upright. Okay, I'm already feeling like this is a relationship I'm connecting with. Page of Swords upright, Knight of Swords upright, and your last card is, yep, I was right, 10 of Cups upright. Okay, so we have a relationship situation going on here. It feels romantic, but this is a general reading, so it can be,
anybody, a friendship, maybe a close relative or something like that. But let me just pull a few more cards, because this is talking about, like, these are some really valiant motives and action you're taking, and they have a lot of positive intention, but somehow it's talking about there being some sort of repercussion. This wasn't like the right idea. And I want some more clarity on like what was going on over here. So just let me pull a few more cards real quickly. The Emperor upright. Okay, well that actually does make sense. Ooh, 5 of Pentacles upright. Okay, so this is hopeful and happy. I love that. But what is going on over here? 6 of Pentacles in reverse. Huh. What? Hold on one second. Oh, okay. 6 of Swords upright. This is great. These are, I have good news to share with you. It's all going to be good. Let's get into this. So the Tower card and the 5 of Swords upright. Something unexpected happened, and this shook the relationship enough that it started causing a lot of like fighting, discourse. In many cases, when the 5 of Swords pops up compared to the 5 of Wands, I know 5 of Wands doesn't always have to be seen as fighting, but I consider both can be. The 5 of Swords often pops up when things are getting way too personal. You know, those like below the belt sort of statements we save for people that we know a little too well. You know what I mean? But it looks like when this happened, we have the Emperor upright. And the thing that's so interesting about this is I'm surprised you didn't get a Judgment card in here, because Judgment cards talk about a relationship being tested, that this test is there and placed there by the universe in order to strengthen or kind of decide what's going on in your relationship. Like, were you meant to be together sort of thing. That's not here though. But the Emperor talks about the foundation of a relationship. So when we talk about that, especially with the 10 of Cups both being here, this pops up when there starts to be cracks in that foundation. The best way I can describe it is like, imagine there's a giant cement block, and stacked on top of that block is all the stuff that you guys have built together. Memories, built team building sort of stuff, whatever it is, it's all depending upon this cement slab. But over time, when little comments are made or you don't agree with something, that little cement slab gets cracks in the foundation. And if there's enough of that, it can crumble and fall apart. And well, guess what? It doesn't matter how high your tower is of memories and things, or how much, how amazing it is, the contents. If it doesn't have that foundation, everything's going to fall apart. And that foundation is like the core things that make you two drawn together, or the things that you both find important and valid, the reason why you were drawn together in the first place kind of stuff. So with the Emperor card going on over here, it feels like it's about the foundation of the relationship. But the cool thing is, in addition to these cards confirming that everything's going to be okay, the Emperor card being upright shows a positive sign that it almost is as if this shakeup, this fighting or whatever, was almost like a positive way to bring out those flaws and bring you guys back to that foundation. Remember the term bringing back to. We're going to get to that in a moment over here, and how it kind of is like a fun cycle. It's like all a positive thing. So I can tell over here in both these cards, double the cards, may I mention, it looks like you were trying to fight for the relationship for the sake of the positivity, but it's like you fighting against them for the sake of you guys as a couple. And so this is really positive. This talks about anything from just verbally standing up for your own beliefs, standing up for all the good times, whatever it is. Clearly you did not want to just allow this mayhem that was going on over here to just kind of be the end of it. You know, you weren't going to give up that easily. We got this double confirmation here. And when we have this happening twice, I can just see how intense this was in a really well-intentioned way. Like I said, the 10 of Cups is up, so you were trying to bring up the good times. You didn't feel that the relationship was worth giving up on yet, which is great. But here's the thing, though. I can see over here, when we talked about a repercussion, we have the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. And the 6 of Pentacles in reverse is talking about when somebody is giving a little bit too much indifference of the other person. Often it talks about like you giving too much and that other person more like, you know, leeching off of you, taking away, taking advantage of you in some way. But this is more like all of this effort in order to quelch or put out this, you know, fire, so to speak, is well intentioned, but it's just too much. Think of this over here with our Six of Swords in reverse. So both of these cards is the positive omen that yes, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be a-okay. It's going to take effort. It's going to take time. You're going to want to make sure that this time period is, especially with the Five of Pentacles, is short-lived. If it extends on for too long, that problem becomes the only kind of defining feature of the relationship, which isn't really great. So it's going to take a little time. You both want to put in the effort, but it's going to be a little rough, but you're going to make it. It's going to be okay. But the Six of Pentacles is like you putting in all this effort and you're putting this Pentacles in this already flimsy boat that is already struggling to get across the waters, and you're going to accidentally sink it. This is implying that it would be a good idea if you maybe just worked with what was already there. Like you don't need to keep stacking on, you know, like I'm trying to sum this up in a way that like everyone can understand. It's like you keep going to your partner and saying like, it's going to be okay. Come on, let's hang out. Stop, slow down, look at the foundation as we talked about, just see what's already there and say, well, what's upsetting you and how can I heal that? Just stick with what's already there. Don't pile more on. Does that make sense? I hate when I have to explain things in a flowery way, but I hope that translated well. So we talk about cycles and going back to the start, as I said over here. But the thing that's really cool here is the Spirit of Place. So the reason why I love Spirit of Place Oracle card is it implies that the answer you're seeking is hidden within the overarching question. So if you're saying, I'm struggling, you know, the question's about struggling, well, then the answer is to relax. So this is where the cycle starts to come in twice. You're coming in, you're having all this discourse, and you're coming in with a lot of intense energy, well-intentioned energy, but the answer is to kind of do the opposite. Chill out a little bit. Don't avoid them, don't leave them. You want to actively work on this relationship, but you kind of want to pull back a little bit, you know, come at it from a different sort of energy placement, do the opposite, so to speak. Again, we talked about the answer being hidden in the overarching question, and that's a bit of a cycle sort of thing, like going back to the beginning. Same thing over here. Here's the problem. It kind of goes back to the beginning of the foundation. Does that make sense? So we have answers about you needing to focus on the core things that the two of you need to smooth out in the relationship. It looks like there's like the main things that brought you two together are still there, but they just need to be properly, maybe there's been some misunderstandings and one thinks that the other person doesn't have the same values the other person has, whatever it is. Discuss that. You're both fine. You can totally fix this and smooth it out. There's a lot of positivity here, especially with the Ten of Cups. This is implying, now I'm not going to say in this spread this is your soulmate, this is something like that, but this implies that this person was meant to be someone you're with for a long time, if not the rest of your life. So it's worth saving. So focus on that foundation. Go back to the beginning of what you guys all knew. Think about how you're phrasing this question that you're asking yourself right now. The message is hidden in that question itself. It's going to take some time. Definitely approach it from a different angle. This is so beautiful. I love your energy here. But right now, your particular situation needs a different sort of approach because the situation itself can't handle that kind of vivacious energy. So overall, positive ending. It's gonna be okay. And I love saying that. I hope you enjoyed this message as much as I enjoyed delivering it. Consider giving this video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. But either way, have a lovely day. I will see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2. Let's find out what the message you were meant to hear today is. Let's look at your cards. Your oracle card is Stuck in the Mud, upright. Your tarot cards are Two of Pentacles, upright. Queen of Cups, upright. Knight of Wands, upright. Ooh, King of Wands in reverse. That's interesting. And Four of Pentacles, upright. Okay, I already know why you're stuck in the mud, but I want to pull another card or two to understand a solution for you. So let's look at what's going on here. Ace of Pentacles upright. That just kind of repeats. Same concept going on over here. Okay, so Four of Cups upright. When I pull tarot, if I get a lot of repeating concepts, it's basically like my spirit guides and tarot saying, this is the answer, get over it. This is all you're going to get from me. Deal with it. So it just makes the answer much more clearer. So let's talk about what's going on over here. The main problem I can see that's going on is you are doing a lot. You are working on things, you're working on a project, this would be work, but except when I say the word project, I'm going to say project a lot, but understand that is a simplistic like vocabulary term I'm using to sum up things like when you're working on both work and your home life and your relationships and your responsibilities. You're just trying to make everything work at once. So it's kind of like a more abstract concept. So when I say project, I'm referring to that. So I can see that in the Two of Pentacles, you are very busy and you're doing great. You're making it work. You're juggling, you know, the responsibilities you have at home, responsibilities you have in your job, whether it be internally within your job, you're making it happen. It is a little bit of a warning that you should not add any more responsibilities to what you're already working with because it will just be too much. You already have enough. But that's not really the problem, is that? No. The problem is that because you're so busy and trying to make all this different stuff just work baseline, you're never progressing and you're acutely aware of it, and it's annoying because you'd like to progress so you aren't so busy and overwhelmed. But how can you progress when you don't ever have the time to kind of look back at your situation and reorganize things? And you know what I mean? Stuck in the Mud actually talks about that concept of like you're moving forward in one place, but you're unable to actually, progress. Now, another reason why you're not progressing, in addition to being just so busy and working on all these different things, is over here in the Four of Pentacles upright. See, the Four of Pentacles upright is about when you're withholding yourself, and this could be because of money. Maybe you're not spending a lot of money. Maybe you don't feel like you're able to emotionally give yourself a lot to people right now because you just feel like you need the limited amount that you have and energy you have in order to accomplish this task. So it's a bit of a survival sort of method, it's all about security and being acutely aware that you feel like you have a limited or lacking amount and you're just being careful. At first, I thought it was the problem because I can see over here in the King of Wands, this repeats a similar concept as the Stuck in the Mud, where it's like things aren't working out. It can often talk about when like coworkers are just like not understanding, the concept. They're not wanting to work with you on the project. That could be one of the problems. But mostly it's about like your energy is not focused on the right things. And that is one of the problems that is causing the dysfunction in the project not fully working out. And in this case, the project working out would be progressing and coming out of this like busy place in life. And so I thought initially it was because you were holding back too much. But the Ace of Pentacles and the Four of Cups are the repeating message that, no, you're fine. This is really awesome too. How you're handling what you're doing right now, both in the way you're just juggling everything, mixed with withholding your personal energy and resources and stuff like that. Keep doing this. This is the confirmation that you're doing totally the right thing. This is more of like a perspective change, which is really interesting because Stuck in the Mud is what I would lovingly like to call the universe's wonderful yet annoying kind of way of giving us a solution or answer. So when we get stuck and we're not progressing and we get this card, this is forcing you to stop moving in order to look around at your surroundings and be able to see things you weren't seeing before because your mind was like only focused on moving forward. Like you were only looking at the road ahead of you and you weren't realizing that it's not working. But you would know that if you looked around and were able to see the kind of proof and the evidence that like, oh, I'm seeing the results of what I'm doing. It's not happening. Okay. Or maybe this is where you get your inspiration and your ideas from by finally slowing down and looking around. Either way, it's saying that where you're going and the way you're trying to go right now isn't the you're not meant to go there. You need to change your perspective and your attention. Now, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep doing what you're doing. What you're currently doing right now is fine. Stay here. Keep withholding. You don't have it to give right now. That's fine. Keep juggling. You're making it happen. This is what you need to do. But it's a bit of like changing the way you're viewing it. So over here in the Four of Pentacles, with this card popping up, this is saying stop focusing on the fact that you feel like you don't have a lot to give. You can do this with your actions, but literally put your attention anywhere else. If you find at any point in the day when you go to pay for something and you're thinking, well, I don't know, I just don't have a... Shut up. Then just don't pay for it. Do not give that part of your life attention right now. You're doing the right thing and you can find comfort that you're doing the right thing. But like, that's not, by focusing on it so much, you're never allowing yourself to see other solutions and kind of welcome it. If you believe in manifestation, this is kind of like, it's not that you're necessarily, I will say you're not attracting this to you. But because you're only focused on this, this is all the options you can see, if that makes sense. So this is where things start to change. And this is why I thought this was so interesting, because this talks about being unfocused with like your attention and energies. And this talks about being acutely focused, like very passionate. It's like committed passion, as I would like to view it. So you're like, and both here and here talk about the thing that you're doing right now. You love it. You're good at it. There's a bit of like intuitiveness. You just know what to do. You definitely navigate this sort of situation with your feelings. In fact, you're being told that you need to give more of your intention, your intentions and to your emotions, to your intuition. You should focus on the fact that you do love what you're doing, that there is a passion. Like stop focusing on the problems and focus all your energy into having this sort of mindset, because this is the thing that's going to finally kind of push you out of this cycle and this busy situation. This is going to make things feel a lot easier because you're kind of going with the flow. This is a go with the flow mentality, and you're going to waste less time wondering, did I make the right decision? You know, how should I organize this better? Because if you follow this more, you will pick the right thing. You will do the right thing. And you need this sort of passionate, committed mentality of like, yeah, I'm going to make this happen. Yeah. To keep driving you through and push you through this time period. Because the thing is, this is something that's going to resolve itself, but it's not going to resolve itself until you can kind of get a better handle on all the juggling. And I hope this didn't come off across as too rambly. I hope this makes sense. But the general concept is like, if you're juggling 3 pentacles, right? You're just doing enough. You need to figure out what's the solution to get rid of this extra pentacle you're juggling altogether. Just get rid of it altogether, or feel like you've mastered it so much it's not even like an issue anymore to juggle. And in order to do that, you need this sort of emotional mindset, because you don't have time to go and organize things, but you're being told in the cards that if you kind of sit back, relax, go with the flow a little bit, go with your intuition a little more, you're going to make more of the right decisions right off the bat. And that's like your time saver. Does that make sense? Okay. I hope that makes sense. But you are going to get over this. You are going to go through this. Keep doing what you're doing. Change your attention and your mindset. It's going to be okay. And definitely find a lot of your solutions by realizing this lack of progression is hidden around you. Look around you, look at your coworkers, look at the people around you, start to listen to things you weren't paying attention to before, but were always there. There's a lot of solutions to direct your energy and problem solvers in there. So yeah, I hope this reading was as wonderful to hear as it was for me to deliver it. Consider giving the video a like, comment, and subscribe today. It helps out the video like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 3. Number 3, let's find out what the message you are meant to hear today is. Let's look at the cards. Your oracle card is Details, Details in reverse. Your tarot cards are the Devil upright, 2 of Wands upright, Knight of Pentacles upright, the Sun in reverse, and your last card is Nine of Swords in reverse. Okay, the message is super specific, very clear, is repeated multiple times throughout the spread, so this is going to be a relatively short one. So let's talk about details, Oracle card in reverse, because it's not only the motif, but this concept is the main thing getting repeated throughout all of the cards. This is like a loving message from the universe saying that you are becoming a perfectionist right now and that you need to stop. It's just not the solution at the moment. That you kind of need to accept that things aren't always going to be perfect, and that is okay. Now, I'm seeing that there's a bit of motivation of why you're in this particular state. And unfortunately, a lot of this motivation and intention is really honorable, but you're like unable to see what it's doing to you. So in the Two of Wands upright, this is talking about when you're anticipating something, you're organizing it, you're getting ready in order to act on it. So this could be you preparing yourself before you go to approach someone and you let them know romantically how you feel. This could be a project that you're working on. Whatever it is, this is like the preparing stages of organizing something. But it's also a card where, because this person is up at their tower and looking at and very acutely aware of what they're about to set out to do, it's a kind of very tension-filled card. And this tension is making you want to make sure that everything is absolutely perfect. That over here in the Devil card, you're allowing this, you're trying to comfort yourself, essentially, like find a sense of security by being so perfect. I can see that over here in the Devil card, but unfortunately, the Devil card says that this is becoming like an unhealthy obsession for you. This is when we do things that we think make us feel better. That's usually the intention of how these sort of bad behaviors begin. Like, we think it makes us feel better, but in turn, because it keeps getting repeated over and over and over again, it then loses its initial positive intention. So it's okay if in the beginning you were like, well, I'll just double check everything, make sure I'm absolutely right. There's no harm in that. But you're doing it too much. You've done it enough, and honestly, it's getting to a point where it's like, you're going to have to accept not everything's going to be perfect, and that is okay. You're allowing it to be a crux that's actually preventing you from actually moving forward, and it's just bogging you down and making you so upset. That actually gets repeated over here in the Nine of Swords, but this Nine of Swords is actually weirdly kind of like a positive omen that we'll talk about in a moment. So the Knight of Pentacles has this sort of mentality of like, well, I know I'm uncomfortable, but I'll just keep going. I'll just keep going. I'll just be patient. I'll keep persisting forward with this mentality and trying to fix things. But you're not aware that you've already planned enough. And while you're planning, you're not aware of how long you've been doing it. And so being unable to have these two things like face each other and make the other one aware. Like if you saw while you're planning, someone came up to you and said, listen, you've been doing this for like 3 months now, or 3 years, or whatever. And then you're like, oh, what? Really? You start to kind of have that aha moment. Same thing over here. You're pushing hard, you're doing it, and someone comes up to you and goes, but why would you need to keep persisting if you had a good enough plan to begin with? And then you go, oh, do you see what I'm saying? There's just like a lack of awareness that's kind of keeping you caged in this sort of mentality, which I'm so sorry you weren't aware about before. Not a big deal. You can always change it. The Sun card is a really positive, happy omen, and so is the Nine of Swords in reverse. A lot of people don't see it as a positive omen, but I see it as a positive omen. So the Sun card basically says that you are kind of, things are a lot better than you're aware of. They're actually going to be okay in the end, but you're, again, being a little too picky with how you want the outcome to be. So this is like getting 95% of what you want instead of the 100. It's not that big of a deal if you don't get that last final 5 or 10%. In fact, it's actually a really positive omen that for the most part, you're going to be very happy with how things turn out. You should progress forward. Stop planning, stop overthinking about it, and just move forward. You're going to be happy. You don't need to be afraid anymore of this future outcome. Because I can tell you right now, in a really positive way, I mean, we can't say this all the time, but in your particular case, it's going to be okay. Yes, it will be a little bit, not exactly as you want it to be, but just by the smallest amount, that once you get there and you kind of relax a little bit, you'll realize that it's fine. You're very happy. You know what I mean? It's like getting the iPhone of your dreams, but then it's just maybe a different color, but in the end of the day, you're going to put a case on it, so you're not even going to see that color. So it's like, isn't that really big of a deal? You got a new iPhone for free. You know what I'm saying? And not only is this a positive outcome and situation, but over here in the Nine of Swords, this is when you feel like this sort of impending doom and gloom and anxiety. It's a card where you're kind of having, how do I put this? These are things that are stressing you out, but they haven't actually happened. So it's great because it implies that it isn't going to happen and that there isn't anything to actually worry about. It's okay that you were stressed because we can't often help when we feel ungrounded or anxious. Like, that's not a bad thing, but it's kind of a comfort that, like, if you were worried things weren't going to work out, it's really just all in your head. You're going to be okay. You're working yourself up. But it is a little bit of a loving warning that you should stop doing this, because when we're in this type of mental state for too long, it's kind of, I don't want to say you'll attract it, because that is not what I'm picking up. It's just that you might not fully be able to allow in and accept the good things that are happening. So definitely allow yourself to de-stress by accepting that things are, I'm so sorry, aren't going to be perfect. You have been planning enough. Your plan's good enough. Move forward now. It was okay that you planned, but you've done it long enough. Move forward. Like we talked about, moving forward is great. Dedication's great, but don't keep dedicating yourself to the one stage. Dedicate yourself throughout the different stages of the progression. And overall, everything's going to be okay. So I'm really happy about that for you. Definitely just focus on your inner happiness and making yourself internally happy right now. That's what you need. That's what you deserve. You have a bright future ahead of you, and I'm so excited for you. If you enjoyed this reading as much as I enjoyed delivering it, consider giving the video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I can't wait to see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4. Let's find out what message you were meant to hear today. Let's look at the cards. Your oracle card is Sacred Pool upright. Your tarot cards are Seven of Wands in reverse. Queen of Swords upright. The Tower card in reverse. The Lovers card upright. Oh, and the Star card in reverse. That's so funny. It's all about mirroring images, and this tarot spread kind of mirrors itself. I love tarot. Did I mention that? It's very poetic often when it delivers its messages. A lot of abstract metaphors going on. So let's talk about Sacred Pool, because Sacred Pool is the motif of the spread, and everything else is repeating these concepts and expanding upon them. So Sacred Pool asks you to look in the mirror and say, do you like what you see? And this is not meant to be a mean statement, as in like, look at all the flaws. It's a positive thing. It's about self-love and self-esteem, but it specifically asks you to look at yourself in a detached kind of self-evaluation way, paired with like very intense, rigorous honesty. And that's important to pay attention to those key concepts, because it's kind of giving you a plan of action, a course of action in order to gain sort of confidence again. Now, I can see this lack of confidence in the Seven of Wands in reverse is kind of affecting and, so to speak, leaking over into other aspects of your life. This talks about when things are just kind of not working out. This could be due to a lack of inner resources. This could be just feeling burnt out. Whatever it is, things aren't working out and you're being advised to kind of pull back. Now is not the time to make a decision. You are going to be acting irrationally, and it's just not going to work out because you're kind of, you need to get grounded again, so to speak. And that grounding comes from the self-esteem you need to gain again. I'm kind of getting a vibe from everything I'm looking at here. You're not fully aware of how much it is affecting you. Just kind of like, oh, bury it under the rug. I don't want to deal with it right now. It's just not important. But it is important. because it's about seeing the good things in yourself and how you can use that to your advantage, and feeling like you are capable, and you are capable, to keep in mind, of going into, life, making things happen. But if you don't feel deep down that you can, even though it's already there, you're just not accepting it, then how can you move forward? Does that make sense? So, Queen of Swords asks you to be brutally honest with yourself. Not only be brutally honest that things aren't working out and you need to finally face this part of yourself, like you have to be honest and kind of say, I need a second to step back. And keep in mind, both of these cards, the Star card in reverse and the Seven of Swords in reverse, say right now is not the time to kind of be out there. You kind of need to take a second to hold back, pull back, regain, regroup, so to speak. But it's about also, again, repeating this concept of acknowledging the parts of yourself, good and bad, all of it, just looking at it. But again, she doesn't do this out of cruelty. She does this out of being just very clinical and upfront and, objective, because she does not feel she needs to shield her truth from you and the truth you deserve to hear out of respect, love. Right now, the truth is your way of getting out of this and your way of moving forward. And why would she want to hide that from you? Does that make sense? Now, this is where it gets really detailed, and I love this. So the Tower card is like a mirror and talks about reflections. But with the Tower card being in reverse, it's about reflecting inward, that you're finding your mirror that you need to look into inwardly compared to outwardly, where it would be people around you and you need to look at your surrounding environment. So with the Tower card being ruled by Mars, this talks about inner drive for action. It's a very aggressive card. It's like saying you need to make something happen. You need to make it happen, especially internally. But it also talks about self-manifestation, and that what you need to, in order to manifest, is something you're going to find within yourself. But it gets a little bit more detailed about that. So being able to make things, turn this card around and make things work out in your favor, whatever that be, your dreams coming true, a situation you're in, whatever, is found over here in the Lover's card. See, the Lover's card is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury and the Lover's card talks about being self-aware. But it's not just being self-aware, like in general. And again, when you're not in and I just want to clarify this, because when we're not in the most confident place, we can sometimes take those terms and make them think like, oh, I'm not aware of how ridiculous I'm being or something like that, when that's not the case at all. It's about being self-aware through logic and reason. So again, being objective and upfront, but with compassion, love, and understanding. But it also talks about the sides of ourselves that I will just simply describe as good and bad. There is no really good and bad, but we sometimes like traits better than other traits, or we would like to kind of push them away. But the Lover's card paired with the Tower card in reverse says that you're going to find this ability to self-manifest by taking this drive and putting it towards understanding the relationship between things. So stop seeing first of all, I can tell you right now with the Sacred Pool card also says you're not giving yourself enough credit. So you're already on top of that, not acknowledging enough. Like, take a second to say, whatever that is, I can't think of what it is, but the small minor things that we look over are a bigger deal than we're giving them credit for. Give yourself credit when you've accomplished things, even if they seem small and minute. You don't have to be on a cover on a magazine to live an extraordinary life. So one, you should be giving that credit, the good stuff. But the parts of yourself that you just feel that no matter how much confidence you gain, you just don't like that part of yourself, when that quote-unquote bad side of yourself interacts with that quote-unquote good side of yourself, a third kind of option exists. And it can only exist by these two kind of coming in contact with each other. And that third option has so many solutions and good things about it that you're so thankful in the end if you, again, look at it with reason and being objective and, being a bit detached so you don't take it so personally. You'll start to be like, oh, wow, I'm so glad I have that other part of myself, because this third option, this magical option, this unique option, totally special to me, wouldn't exist if it wasn't for that. So it's acknowledging the good stuff, the bad stuff, understanding how it all is coming together, what it's creating, how all of this can work in your favor, that this is what's creating confidence, which then can help you self-manifest and have the drive in order to move forward. So, like I said, all really great positive stuff. And if that isn't enough, the star card is extremely positive. I love this card. This is kind of a little bit of a goofy positive card because the star card in reverse talks about not trusting yourself, and kind of is a loving way of saying, you know, maybe it's now not the time to be a shining star. Right now, you got to pull back. We talked about that in both these cards, and you need to take care of yourself right now and get back in touch with all the great parts of yourself and acknowledge that and build confidence through this kind of sort of scientific method we're describing over here. But before you can get back out there. But the thing about the star card is it's saying that you are, you know, in going down the right destiny. You're going down the right path. Everything you're doing is the right thing, even when it doesn't feel like it's the right thing, but you're just not aware of it. That's what this card means. It's like you're good, but you're not aware that you're good. And when we're not aware of it, often that's where the lack of confidence comes in. That's where the insecurities, the worries come in. And this is like a loving card saying, no, you're great. You're good to go. You're doing all the right things. Keep moving forward. Keep pushing forward. You're just not acknowledging that. Again, you will be able to see this when you can acknowledge the things within yourself that you like. Confidence, self-love, all that good stuff. So like I said, take some time, look at yourself, try not to take things personally, but understand objectively the good stuff and understand how the stuff you don't like about yourself is creating a third better thing. It's all meant to be there for a reason. Just take some time to enjoy it. That's all. So if you enjoyed this reading, please feel free to give it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!